Hey, my name is Caitlin, and this is the official first vlog for the cultural project for TE250. My name is Caitlin Buell. Welcome to my stairwell. Yeah, I had an awesome opportunity to hang out with this girl, Angelica, from the Dominican Republic. It was really cool, really sweet. We ended up talking about her culture and my culture, and we learned a lot about each other's culture, and it was really sweet. I learned a lot about my own, I learned about hers. Our original plan to hang out kind of fell through, and our backup also fell through. So we ended up meeting for just some late night food in Acres Cafeteria. I grabbed like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She had some water, and we just ended up talking for a really long time about a whole bunch of different stuff. I learned a lot about her, she learned a lot about me. It was really fun. So Angelica is a student here at Michigan State. She's a freshman studying mechanical engineering. She speaks Spanish, she's from the Dominican Republic, she's Black. As we were talking, she talked about how she considers it in like the United States standard, she kind of grew up poor, and that she has a high value on education, like she values education really highly, which was an anomaly like in the environment that she kind of like grew up in. Yeah, and she was just really fun to talk with. She's got an amazing laugh and she's super funny, and it was really great. Before we hung out, I was like super nervous and kind of excited because I might have a chance to speak in Spanish, and nervous that like my Spanish might not be good enough, that there might be like large amount of awkwardness, but while we were hanging out, I just had a lot of fun, and it really wasn't that awkward, and my Spanish was okay. She considers me bilingual, so that's nice. I kind of shy away from any title like that, but that was cool. Yeah, my name's Caitlin. I'm a student at Michigan State too, and I'm Caucasian. I'm a Christian too. English is my first language, and Spanish is like kind of my second language. I speak it really well, and Angelica and I were able to talk in Spanish, and that was really cool. Aside from like our nationality difference and our race difference and like our economic level difference, because I grew up mostly in like the upper middle class, which is incredibly wealthy compared to the standards in the like Dominican Republic. But it was really cool because when we were speaking in English, it would be my first language and her second language, and like our ability to communicate was good because her English is fantastic. But there were still topics where it was hard for her to articulate herself just because it wasn't her first language. And then when we were speaking in Spanish, it was my second language, and we were still able to understand each other, but I had a hard time with certain vocabulary that I was like unfamiliar with, and like she would get comfortable speaking in Spanish and then go so quickly, and it was hard sometimes. And so I got a better understanding of what it must be like for international students and just people learning English, and then we were able to talk about that a bit, about learning Spanish versus learning English and the vocabulary that goes into it. Even my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, she called the jelly marmalade, and I was able to explain to her how we have different words for like different types, and how some are more common than others, and like this in fact is jelly. And I learned that the Spanish word for jelly looks a lot like marmalade. And so we both came away with some knowledge about languages and their culture. It was really sweet. Yeah. So we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, but two of the big things that I kind of like came away with was just how prevalent poverty is in the Dominican Republic. Not everyone's poor, but it's such a huge, it has more of an impact on day-to-day life than it does here. So many people are below that poverty line, are in poverty, and that really affects education. I mean, people, Angelica was telling me how not many people go on to secondary school, to secondary education like high school, and fewer people still go beyond that. So Angelica in that case was an anomaly, like coming to the United States to go to university, but yeah, and it just kind of like blew my mind. Like I knew about it, especially because of the video we watched, but just that real world example, like she talked about certain friends, like specific names of people that had to work instead of going to school, and that just is crazy. And then we also talked about diversity. I grew up in a really diverse environment in terms of my high school. I had a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different ethnicities and even nationalities represented. Whereas she talked about in the Dominican Republic that there aren't, everyone's Dominican, she said. Maybe Haitian, you might need a couple Haitians just because the Dominican Republic and and Haiti are on the same island, but that there's not that much diversity. And so that was more of a culture shock for her, especially coming to Michigan State where there's so many different ethnicities and nationalities and all of that. And yeah, we were able to talk about how that kind of affected our education and our view of the others, like people that aren't quite like us. And so it was interesting to reflect on my own upbringing and then to hear about hers. We both kind of came away learning a lot. But yeah, so coming away from hanging out with Angelica, I laughed a lot, I had a lot of fun, I learned a lot too. Not just about Spanish and vocabulary and sentence structures that kind of had collected cobwebs in the back